This is the Shadow Business Podcast. Welcome back. I'm so happy you're here. My name is Sarah. And today I want to ask you, is your business within divine proportion? And before we get into anything else, because I will explain what divine proportion exactly is, but before we are getting into this, because I had this idea for a long time, I'm talking about divine proportion for almost a year now. But I want to ask something else. Can you overconsume in coaching? And you know, that's a question, a serious question. And I wonder what you think. So I know this firsthand, right? So I'm still listening to 2 hours of training every workday. And so for over 4 years. And I have learned so much, but there's also a lot which I've learned that I haven't implied, or actually, I was listening back to some of the trainings I purchased, I think in 22 or something, and I was like, "Ooh, interesting." Now I'm looking at it completely different because I have all this experience. So sometimes it's also really good to look back. Sometimes it's really bad. But also, so that's the thing. So I'm a consumer, as to say, but also in that same stretch of time, I've also told that my offer is the one thing that will change their life, and that is really something that they need to do right now, right? So it's for me, it's both true, and yeah, maybe it might be a little bit uncomfortable to admit to both at once, but it's just, yeah, it's exactly also what today's episode is about. So I've started a new series on Instagram. By the way, if you're not following me there, do it. You can find the link in the show notes. And a series called Can You Overconsume in Coaching? And it's about sales and offers, fulfillment, visibility, pricing, capacity, mindset, and all these things. And now it's 7 parts, but it's much more. Obviously, we also should add brands to that. But there's all these different angles, and it's all having the same underlying question, which is, with everything that is out there telling you what to fix, how do you actually know what is true for you right now? And I got this question a lot from my clients, but also from my peers. And this is also why I created a new program called Summer Splash. And this is exactly what this is about. Because here is what I keep coming back to, right? In nature, in art, in architecture, there is this recurring ratio and this proportion that shows up again and again, and it's just because it works. And it's it's not like a shell decides to look a certain way, but it just is there, right? It's balanced. It's not overbuilt, or it's not neglected, or yeah, everything is exactly as much as it needs to be. There's no more, no less. And I feel most businesses are the opposite of that. So they're overbuilt in one area, completely ignored in another. And it's just, I think you maybe have got a sales process that could sell, I don't know, ice to a snowman, but nobody is actually finishing your program, for instance. Or your content is really beautiful and it's everywhere, but your offer is really hollow and it doesn't land. And so one area is drowning in attention while the other one is kind of starving in your business. And so that imbalance, I think that is the real reason why most of us are buying the next course or the next framework or the next this changed everything for me. And so the thing is, we're not missing the information, I believe. We're missing the proportion. And this is an epiphany I had when I was in the US last year, and I thought, yeah, this is it, because I was at a business conference and I saw so many women with businesses, and they were all they were not a closed loop. They had holes in, if their business was a circle, it was not closed. It had all these little holes, and everything, their energy, their ideas, everything would just go out of those holes. And I saw it there, right? And it's just, something that came to me, and that's And I thought of the golden ratio, divine proportion. I thought of this. I learned this at school when I was doing art history classes and aesthetics also, kind of art philosophy, and what is the definition of an good art piece? Why do we like certain art and why do we not like certain art? Well, this all has a theory. I'm not going to talk too much about that here, but this is where I learned this, right? I'm not a mathematician, even though it is a mathematical tool, but I learned it that way. And I thought, oh yes, I have this feeling that I kind of know in things that I don't really need to know, right? So for instance, I really know when a piece of clothing is perfect, right? So for me, that's I mean, it's nice to know for me, and whether or not I'll buy it, but I feel like I have an eye for that. You could also call it taste, but taste is nothing more than um, a collision of experiences, things that you're used to seeing, right? So when you go to a museum often, like I do, I really understand what's good and what's not. The only reason I understand this is not because I'm super smart, but just because I see it a lot, right? So this is just, and the same goes with businesses. I see so many businesses and I'm thinking, oh yes. So I built the Divine Proportion Mastermind because I wanted to. So it's a way to mapping your business across different areas that matter, and instead of guessing, okay, or kind of falling into something. Okay, now I'm going to do podcasts. Okay, now I'm going to do. Create a lot of videos, or now I'm going to really double down on trial reels. And I see people do these little breadcrumbs, and these can also be my clients. And then I always wonder, okay, why are you doing this? I'm not saying that I'm much better than them because I'm doing this too, right? I want to create new things, but I started doing this when I had this epiphany in America. And I thought, okay, no, I really have to focus on, okay, what is it actually that I need to do right now? And so for me, what's important right now is very much growth. I need a bigger audience. That's what I'm focused on. Also more buyers, obviously, but I think that's already going very well. But I need more eyes on my business. Been doing that since the beginning of this year, 2026. Been doing trial reels, series, signature series, scripted content, all those things that really worked very well for my business growth. So I'm very happy. Now we're July and it's working, but it's also it was really a decision. I thought, no, I really have to scale actually, and because I have a scalable business, so I could just easily do that. But I would always kind of go back to the one-to-one or mastermind trap. I'm not doing that anymore. Well, I am, but not just as a sole focus. So, and I've created the divine proportion method, and I thought about, okay, so how can I kind of show the math? And inside my new program, Summer Splash, that's exactly what we're going to do together. It's a small program. It's 3 trainings. It's very concise. But it's a small training, but it has a lot of value and really a lot of things packed inside. It's 55 euros, so it's a friendly price. And it's actually really to navigate, okay, so what should be your focus the upcoming months? And so we're not we're not going right now for the episode. I'm not going to touch on everything that's inside, but I want to give you one example for this podcast, because of course I want it to be worth your time. But we want to. So what we're doing inside Summer Splash is that we're looking for your actual ratio first, and then we go deep into, okay, so where should be your focus? So it's really a lot of fun. Okay, so let's make this a little bit less abstract with one example: content. So I talk to a lot of business owners, coaches, artists who are very proud of their content, as they should be, right? They're posting daily. Their reach is climbing. More people are following. People are commenting, sharing, sending it to their friends. And so by every kind of visual measure, that part of the business is actually thriving. And then when I ask them about sales, it's it's a little bit less perfect. And this is not because the content is bad, but it's actually working exactly as it is intended. Sorry, it is getting attention. And so the problem is that the person who is doing the content is they're not directing the audience what to do next. There is no offer which is showing up in the feed, or there's no clear step, or nothing bridging, like I love this person's content too, I want to buy from this person. And so all this energy went into one side of the radio and ratio, sorry, I don't know why I said radio, and the other side, the offer and the ask was not mentioned. And so this is the trap. And so the instinct when sales are quiet is often, okay, yeah, I have to make more content. I have to be better at content, more reach, more visibility, more hooks, like I just spoke about myself. But if the imbalance is actually, for instance, on the offer side, then more content just means more people ignoring an offer that was just not really made sense in the first place. And so you often don't need more attention. You need to close the loop on the intention you already have. There it is again, the loop, the circle. You want to close it. You want to make it, yeah, literally close it. Maybe that's also why it's called closing. Not really sure if that's the thing. That's etymologically. Language, history, that's what I mean. If that's really where it comes from, that word closing. And so anyway, that's proportion. Sorry. Sometimes I think, okay, I can make 1,000 episodes in one, but I'm not doing that. I have to, this episode has to be within divine proportion as well, right? So, but that's the proportion. Not do more everywhere, but actually find the side in your business that's empty and stop pouring into the side that's already full. And even though you like it a lot, yeah, you're a business owner. You know, it's not a hobby. You have to sometimes also do the things that maybe are not as easy right now, but will get easier once you do that. So, okay, that's one example. It's one ratio. It's one imbalance. I'm not going to unpack all the areas inside this episode. That is what Summer Splash is for. But I will say this, you know, if you've listened to the whole series and on Instagram, and also, you know, if you're feeling like, yes, okay, I really need to work on that, then be welcome to the program, because it's probably because you have not found your proportion yet. I also have not seen anyone offer this before, so it's a unique program. I really made it up all myself, and yeah, it's I just see it, you know, 4.5 years as a business coach right now. I just see that is one of the biggest problems. So if you want to join, you can join through the link in bio. I'm recording this live, but you can still get it if you're, I don't know, 3 weeks later. You can still get it for the same price. You will just get the replays, but it's going to be really good. But if you want to join, you can find the link in the show notes. And it's time to find your balance. That's it for today. Next time you catch yourself reaching for one more course or one more framework, ask yourself this: is this actually where my business is out of proportion, or am I just avoiding the part that already is? Okay, thank you so much for listening. Talk soon. We're going to have a very juicy episode next week. And don't forget to rate the show for 5 stars. And see you soon. Bye.